So my name is Drew. I'm the founder and CEO of BoatEye360, and you are at a BoatEye360, I guess you can call it factory, but it's more like a warehouse. We do all the R&D, assembly, packaging, everything here.
All in one, fabrication, research and development, fabrication, prototyping, boxing, everything. And how long you been doing this, Drew?
The company started about 6 to 8 months, I would say, now.
Okay.
It took me about a year to bring the product to the market.
Okay.
Like my first, what's the word, a viable product that I can actually sell and have someone use it. It took me a year to make that.
Right.
And we've been selling it for solid 6 to 8 months now.
Okay, show us your product.
So this is a BoatEye360 night vision camera for boats.
Okay.
So what it does is it helps you see in the dark when you're out on the water. So if you go to restaurants or if you go to night fishing, coming back late from sandbar, if you're doing search and rescue, maybe you're providing some towing services, commercial fishermen, anyone on the boat that's going out after the sun goes down in the dark, this comes pretty handy because it shows you like it's daylight on your screen, so you can see your channel markers, crab traps, other boats, if there's any kayakers lurking around, things like that. It's really the safety product, helps you be safe on the water.
I would think that, you know, especially if you've got a big, expensive boat, what does that retail for?
So this specific unit retails for $1,280.
Oh, that's inexpensive. That's a lot less than I expected.
Right, so it's expensive, but if you look at our competitors, the prices are like 3-4x than what we
sell. Yeah, I was expecting you to say like $3,000 when you said that. I was like, that was my reaction.
Right.
I don't know, like that. So that unit that you have in your hand is worth more than my boat, which is just a kayak, right? I don't have a big boat.
Right. So if you look at an average boat cost, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint a number, but majority of people I know have boats that are well over $100,000.
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, we have a lot of customers. The boats are in $1 million plus figure, right?
Right.
So $1,000 to protect your investment, it's nothing basically, and not just the boat. You yourself, how much do you owe yourself, right?
Yeah. Or the person that you're going to run over on your $1 million boat.
Dad, your family. I mean, anyone who's involved, essentially.
It's a no-brainer.
This can save someone's life.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
And I say that because I was involved in a boating accident in it. So yeah, this is it's made of 316 stainless.
Okay.
It's heavy duty, like you can feel it. It's not a.
And I don't want to drop it because then
it's not hurt anything.
Oh yeah, it is quite heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's powder coated, and then we use titanium screws. So basically, there's going to be no corrosion when you use this in salt water. It's completely waterproof. You can install it on your boat and then leave it, and it will work for years and years and years. These cameras are compatible with most of the chart plotters or MFD. MFD is like multi-function displays.
Yeah.
So it's compatible with most of the chart plotters. Like Garmin, Simrad, Prunos, Remarine, all that. There are some entry-level chart plotters that may not have the video input port. In that case, we also sell external screen.
Maybe when you make it big and you get a boat like that, you could take me on your boat.
I already have a boat. We can come with me.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, that's I just got myself invited fishing. Did you see how that went down?
My background is in IT, so I worked in IT for like 10 years now. I worked on like Microsoft Cloud products all my life, and it was fun. But after my boating accident, basically everything changed for me, and we'll get into it again more. But that's how they started.
Yeah, I had something happen to me last year that changed my outlook on stuff as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we are scaling fairly quickly, and in fact, we're out of stock right now. So
this is all committed, everything here.
Pretty much, yeah. We're still waiting for parts.
That's great. So I mean, it's great. It's a great problem to have.
Right. It's a problem, right? So we're constantly working on resolving that problem. And my background's now from manufacturing, so I'm learning every day. How to improve processes. I mean, just the other day, we are going to start this system. It's called a 2-bin system, where the way it works is you have basically 2 bins. So any part, for example, you have the screws right here, right? Go in the camera. We're going to have 2 bins full of screws. So as soon as the 1 bin gets over, we can order more screws, and we have 1 more bin to go. It's so simple, and you would think that it's common sense almost. But
it's not.
We weren't doing that, and you know, my guy who does assembly for me, he's like, Drew, we're out of screws.
Right.
Now I have to wait for a week or two to get the screws because these are custom sized screws, with titanium, which are hard to find.
Right.
So
I went through like all of that same stuff with my product, all of the same kind of stuff, where it's like you learn as you go.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing about it is there's no school that you go through, and like you said, it's super. Yeah, YouTube it, you know. But that's what we're doing right now. Like when I went through it, it was really tough. So I'm going around to businesses like yours, and I didn't record that stuff when I was going through it. I wish I had seen somebody else doing it or whatever. Now somebody can see that you're doing it, you know. And it was. You know, and liken it to like this whole thing with running a business. Like I'm in IT as well. I mean, I'm an enterprise Java developer, but this whole thing about starting and running a business is this whole question in front of you all the time. Can I do it? Right? Can I do this? I think I can sell this. I think I can make it better. I think I can make a new product. And then as you go, you're solving problems. And they might
changing.
Yeah, and they might not be like the most, I don't know, glorious, you know, problems in the world. But man, the feeling that you get when you solve that little problem, like you're proud of this 2-bin system.
Yeah.
And you should be, right? And that was the same thing with me. And that's kind of what drew me forward the whole time, you know, going through this. Other people would say, well, you're stubborn, or maybe you're in a positive way.
You're persistent, right?
Persistent, so, you're persistent or tenacious. Other people would say you're stubborn, but it's not that. It's that there's something new to learn around every corner. It's very exciting.
And there's too many of them, right?
Yeah.
Even a lot of small things that. I mean, I can talk about all day the little problems we had when we started that are little problems, but they are problems, and you have to resolve them every day. And I mean, I have dreams about these problems. I can't sleep until I resolve these problems.
Right. So something similar. Like my brain will be working on a problem like subconsciously while I sleep or when I relax or whatever, and then I know it's doing it, and I'm not even thinking about it, and then the answer will come to me, and I was like, something was processing in the background there. That is a same exact experience that I've had.
I'll be eating like dinner with my girlfriend and just staring at my plate, and like, oh wait, that's the answer.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I want to just stop eating and run to my office and try to fix it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend goes, no, sit down.
Sit down.
And then you can leave.
Well, man. So Mad Scientist, we're starting the Mad Scientist Club here. That's just, me and Drew starting the Mad Scientist Club because that's exactly what I do.
Right.
And that's I've been doing it for like 10 years. I was just entertaining myself. The whole thing for me, it was just an experiment. You know, it seems like you had. Well, you said you had an event, and we'll go and talk about that. But you had an event and an idea in your life, and bang, you're off and running. And you're doing this full time.
Full time, yes. Well, and I did quit my job because that would force me to just go 100%. And it was really scary. It still is, to be honest. But as you make progress every day and you get your first sale, your 10th sale, your 100th sale, it gives you a lot more confidence. So I remember there were some business ideas I tried to start before this, and I was never really successful at it because I was never 100% dialed in. It was always like, I mean, nothing wrong with starting something on the side. Do your job. Absolutely do that if you can. But at some point, you do have to just say, okay, I'm going to go 100%. Or I'm not doing this. Otherwise, you'll never scale the business to where it needs to be scaled. When you're at home and you think of like, okay, rent is due next month, and you have to have like, 10 sales or 20 sales. That's when you come up with really cool ideas and do really cool things. At least for me, I work under pressure. I perform pretty well under pressure. So I kind of forced myself into it, especially after hurricane.
For me, it was difficult. That was like the biggest grind for me was to get out of my garage and pull the trigger on the injection molding. But then I still have my day job, my consulting, and part of that is that I really love programming. I'm a student of programming. Is one of the biggest compliments one of my customers.
Because that's what I need. I need programmers.
But I love programming. At the same time, like I had 5 children, and I was independent contractor, and I needed to keep the money going. But I had this I was doing the mad science stuff on the side, and then it got out of control, and pretty soon it was 2 full-time jobs.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it turned into a grind. I was 3D printing, fixing my printings. I ran my printers so much. I was like, I learned all about them. Oh, that broke or this broke, and I got to redo it and get the print going again. And then on the weekend, you know, I'd have, I don't know, 20 or 30 units, and I'd be cutting them and assembling in my garage, and it was a grind. But I mean, the thing that's great about what you did was you just like, bang, you made the decision, said, I'm going to do this, and you've only been doing it 8 months, and that's like hats off to you.
It did take me a few months. I mean, I know it looks like...
Yeah, but it didn't take you 4 years.
No, definitely
like it took me.
I think a lot of things happen on top to really push me in that direction.
Right.
Hurricane. We went through 2 hurricanes, and I lost my house, my vehicles. I mean, everything we had. We had just nothing but clothes.
Yeah.
We were living in an RV outside our house for 2 months.
Wow.
Because we lost our house. So a lot of that stuff kind of, it sucked, but it also pushed me to work extremely hard. I mean,
that's crazy.
I used to sleep 4 hours a day. I mean, I still, some nights I only sleep 6 hours at max.
Well,
I used to sleep here,
you're
actually.
young.
Yeah.
People might not know how young you are, but I mean, this will really, like when I came in and said, who are you? Who am I? But I'm actually old enough to be Drew's dad.
You're not that old.
I'm old enough to be your father. I have a 32-year-old son.
Okay.
You're 32. Well, I mean, he might be 31.
So on this side, it's just raw material.
Right.
A lot of the raw material. Like for example, we have these cables made by a vendor. This is a custom cable. So earlier you were asking, how are these cameras plugged into a screen?
Right.
So this end of the cable goes to the camera.
Right.
On this end, you have power and ground cable with inline fuse. And then there's a video cable that goes into your chart plotter, your Garmin or Simrad, whatever you've got. So this is one way to do that. It's one cable to the camera, other one to the screen. So there's just a bunch of cables here. Come on this side, you already saw the screen that we saw. Here's our parts bin. So all the screws, nuts, bolts, little parts all here. We're going to label everything. Again, learning how to manufacture is we're gonna put a system in place that we can scan the barcodes and tally all the inventory, even for parts, instead of having to rely on just like, hey, we need more screws. We want a system where as soon as we run out of one bin, we order the part, so we have it and we're not out of stock. Like we're out of stock right now. So
like just not having the screws can shut the whole thing down. It's like, well, I guess I'm taking the afternoon off until I get those dang screws.
Because a lot of customers are willing to wait, but there are also customers who are like, hey, I'm going out fishing this weekend.
Right.
And I need this camera. I'm gonna have my wife, my kids with me. I can't see anything, you know, in the dark. I mean, you can't. Boats, for those who are not with familiar, boats don't have headlights. Right. So
I think another thing people don't realize when you are running a small business. So there's 2 things here. One of them is there's a limited amount of space, and you only have a limited amount of money to work with. It's not like you can buy, you know, a truckload of screws right now, right? Because you also need to buy the housings, and you need to buy this component and that component, right? So that's the challenge, and again, you know, learning all those things. I got to do a better job with my inventory. I have a vague notion of what's there, but if I start getting orders increasing, you know, I gotta be much more on top of it.
Right.
Know, so
I mean, we are all completely on cash flow, so we have no investors.
Right.
I have 100% ownership. We have a few parties that are interested in becoming a part of it, but right now we're fully self-funded. So you're correct. It is hard, especially when you start. And most businesses fail because, I mean, look around. There's so many things that go wrong.
Right.
And
well, there's a million little things to track. Right, a million things, and you're also doing, you know, marketing, right? Like I met Drew at the Tampa Bay Boat Show. So that cost you money, right? You have limited space. You got limited,
employees,
you know, and so like if you look around here, you know, there's probably
it's tough. I mean,
how many parts do you think would go into this? I mean, overall, it's probably 100 parts or something. Maybe not that.
I would say about 50.
50 parts. Okay, so 50 parts.
We are creeping that limit because we're going to add more and more features and more things. So yeah, it's going to get up there. This, I don't know, 10-cent part, right? Right. When we started this business, we had an O-ring that failed on us. And that let water come inside the housing. Right, and then you got a warranty claim. That's it. Right, but we couldn't even figure out how the water got in. right?
Oh, you had to find out that it failed first.
Right, how did it fail? I mean, we know the moisture got in because the lens was fogged up,
right?
But we didn't know where, because where the water came in from. So we did a lot of like pressure testing and figure out, and then we finally realized it was the O-ring, and we replaced the O-ring, and boom, the problem is resolved. But a 10-cent part that put me 2 weeks out of business because I could.
Yeah, you're not going to sell any. You're not going to sell another one.
Sell anything. Yeah, I can't. I cannot let a camera go out knowing that it will fail.
Right.
That's just not the way we do business, right? So.
No, well, it's a great way to go out of business, actually. Right.
Right.
No, but yeah, I get that. So, I had the benefit of doing, like, I had 3D printed my product and sent it out, and after they were in the field for like a year or two, I started getting, some people said the spring corroded through, and I was like, shouldn't corrode through. It's stainless steel, but I didn't know that there was a difference between stainless 304 and stainless 316. You get stainless 316.
Yes, sir.
I now have stainless 316 springs on my product, but that was a live and learn. But fortunately, it was a very slow launch for me, so it wasn't. It didn't. First of all, I didn't stop things. I didn't find out until they were in the field for like 2 years.
Exactly.
Right. So I think that slow launch has helped me like really dial in my product. I'm feeling pretty confident. Although I'm kind of wondering, is that just like a self-deception, right? Because there's always something else to learn.
What you don't know is what you don't know, right? So like when we did the testing, we did like salt spray testing. We did the testing for waterproofness. We drove trucks on this camera. It's not so we don't want to create something and then 1 year in, the product starts breaking,
right?
Because that creates bad reputation. We wanted to make
you only have one chance to make that first impression, right?
My goal's been, ever since I started this, was anything BoatEye360 makes, we want to leave that. There's certain brands out there that you say their names and you're like, okay, that's built well because you associate that with the brand.
That's what I'm going for with my product as well. I want to. I see like the American flag out there, and we're here in we're in Sarasota, Florida, by the way, if anybody didn't know. And most of this is made in the U.S. Not all of it, because it's very, very difficult to find every part. I experienced the same thing, right? So, what if you go through it, like what parts would be made in the U.S., what would be made overseas?
So the goal, so right now the metal part is not made in the US, but we are transitioning that to US.
Okay.
Powder coating is happening in the US. The screws not from the US. We probably could find it from the US, but it's one of those things. I'm not making an aerospace type product, meaning I don't have to comply with some of the regulations. So there is really no point of spending 10x the price for the screw. From the US versus overseas,
Right.
Because financially, it will skyrocket the price for the product if we were to get this titanium screws from US.
Right. Because they're made specifically for aerospace.
And the funny part is, even if you, let's say, buy it from US, they may have bought it from somewhere else. So there is no way to verify that this screw is from US. There is, but it's hard.
Right.
But some of the other parts, like all the 3D printing happens in the US. Honestly, I don't know where the box is made. We buy it from a US vendor, but it's one of those stories we never really care to ask.
Right.
The box comes pre-made from there. A lot of these cables comes from China. All the software for everything is US.
Okay.
All the coding, all the software, all the electronic design. Some hardware for the electronics are not from the US, but all the assembly, configuring how to use it, all US basically. So that's fun. But like, for example, this little adapter, you cannot make this in US. You can make it, but you cannot find it. So there's not a vendor that has this.
So that's the kind of stuff that I ran into that was frustrating as all get out, was that you're looking for something, it's on other products, you see it all over the place, and it's like, where can I get this? And when you go to search for it, the stuff that you find in China, you can go, I forget the website I was going on to, but it's like you can find anything, but it's all made in China, but there's nothing, when you start researching it, finding it, like the screws or that thing, it's like it's impossible to find it, and you just search and search and search and search and search to find the stuff that's made in the US,
So even in China, there's only 2 vendors that I know that makes this part, even in China. And if someone were to make this in US, now you have to open a mold. and you know how much bones cost to
Right.
make this plastic piece, right?
Right.
And then you need a specialized machine to seal it. So, I mean, it's much cheaper for me to buy this than to having to figure out a way to create it. Maybe we'll
Right.
go in the future when we scale,
Right.
hire more employees, we buy more
Sure.
machines. But for now, financially, it doesn't make any sense for me to source this
Right.
from US.
Right.
But everything comes here, all the materials, and they're also custom. Like this
Right.
is customized to me, or how I want it. The
Right.
size of the cable, the angle for the pin, all that stuff is customized from that vendor. But once everything comes here, we assemble it, we pack it, we ship it, we do all the software side. That's what does the real magic, and I'll show you what that part looks like in the office side. Because you can buy all this hardware, but that doesn't mean you get the same results as far as the video goes from the night vision, right?
Right.
So the magic happens in the software.
Okay.
This is just like the aid to finish that product, because we started over there, and then we figured out how to put this in a waterproof housing so we can sell it, right?
Okay.
So let's
Well, let's go over there.